chat. But our last guy that we're going to talk about is going to be Tua Tagovailoa. 74th overall. He's up 14 spots, which, is a pretty significant jump when you talk about this isn't a guy moving 14 spots, from 110 to, 110 to 101. This is like in the top 100, moving up a full almost round and a half. Like, that's a pretty solid jump. And, Tua Tagovailoa, I don't think there's any recent news. Maybe it's that Tyreek Hill is staying. I don't know. It seems like there's still a possibility, but he moved up from the 709 to the 605, which I think is a pretty steep price to pay for Tua Tagovailoa. He's 27 years old, so he's still a decent age for a quarterback. But to me, look, I want nothing to do with Tua. I really don't. Insulation wise, they did extend him, but I don't know what to expect. Mike McDaniels could be on his way out if they have a really bad season. It would not surprise me if he's not there after this year. Like, the way the culture is going on there, the way it feels like he kind of lost that locker room a little bit last year. Like, it just, I have my concerns with Tua. And if you're taking Tua, he better be your QB no more than your QB2. If he's your QB1, you got real issues. But if you're taking Tua here as your quarterback too, I'd rather just kick the can down the road and maybe even take like a Sam Darnold like a round later, because you're getting similar uncertainty, right? And to me, like, why pay that high price? I mean, we're talking about the 6th round. Like, that's not that cheap, in my opinion. And so I'd even rather take a shot on Justin Fields, who I'm not in love with, but at least if I'm a contender, I know if he's on the field, he's going to probably give me, QB 12 or higher production if he's on the field. So I'm not in love with Tua at this price. I don't know what justifies the cost here. And Tyreek Hill might be on his way out too after this season. So I'm not really sure, Matt. I mean, maybe talk some sense into me and explain to me why. Can you justify that, or are you kind of in the same boat as me?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can justify it. I don't think I can talk sense into it either, because the injuries, you have to mention it. It sucks. I know it's not fun. You don't want to predict them, but it's absolutely a problem with Tua. Just like you mentioned with Chris Olave earlier, it's something that you're going to be constantly thinking about. And if I can avoid it, I don't want him on my roster, just because I don't want to have to deal with the headache of trying to figure out what to do. Because if one thing goes wrong, if he gets hurt, even if it's just for a week or two, you're not going to be able to move him. People aren't going to come buying because everyone's afraid of it. And my experience is, any league where I've had Tua, he's been basically unmovable. You can't do anything. Let's talk about his production. 17 points per game. Is that the worst? No. Is it necessarily going to win you weeks? I don't think so either. The targets down there, like, that offense has a lot of pieces, but like you said, McDaniel, he's probably on his way out. It doesn't really feel a lot of positivity down there. Tyreek's getting older. Waddle necessarily hasn't taken steps forward. He's kind of just maintained what he was. Jonnu Smith is a guy that carried the offense. Same with Devon Achane. And that's not necessarily to the benefit of Tua or because of Tua. I think Tua's ability to lead this offense is just kind of, it's capped to me. And, you mentioned, would you rather have Justin Fields or Tua? That's tough, man. It really is. It's two different sides of the coin. Do you want the guy with rushing upside who can't really throw the ball, or do you want the guy with health question marks who sometimes still struggles to throw the ball too? You mentioned Sam Darnold. The name that popped in my head is, he's going around before him, would be Jared Goff. Jared Goff averaged almost 3 points more than him per game. I would much rather have Jared Goff. And I know he's older, but it just seems like the safer play. And if you're talking about your quarterback too, I usually want a safe quarterback. I don't want a question mark. If 2 is your quarterback 3, yeah, okay, we can talk about that. And you can say it's kind of an interesting pick. If he performs well, then he's some trade value for you. But I'm not necessarily looking to add him as my quarterback on any team, or certainly in a startup, because it's so many question marks. There's a lot of issues in Miami, and I think it starts at the head coach, the quarterback position, and it just spreads out from there.
Yeah, and I mean this team has offensive line issues too.
Hmm.
Teron Armstead looks like there's a very solid chance that he doesn't come back. He may retire, right? He restructured his deal to be on the vet minimum, and this is a quarterback that provides no rushing upside with Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, when you think of Tua, the most rushing yards he had in a game last year was 17. He was over 10 rushing yards just 3 times. And this is a guy that had negative rushing yards 3 times and 0 rushing yards twice. So he's giving you absolutely nothing. You're pretty much touchdown and passing yard, quote unquote, dependent with Tua. And to me, the juice is not worth the squeeze because, like you said, he would have to have like an MVP kind of year next year to provide any more value because he's a depreciating asset. That's the best way I can put it. He is a car. When you drive him off the lot at the dealership, he only goes down in value. When you draft him in your
Hmm.
startup, he will not gain value. It's hard to just I mean, who is he gaining value over? Maybe Jared Goff. Okay, like I could see it just because of the age of Goff, but I'm with you. Like I'd rather Goff. If Bryce Young has a terrible year, I guess, but I think I'd still rather take a chance on Bryce Young unless it's like really bad. But to me, I don't know what justifies this cost for Tua. It's an expensive price, and to your point, like there's a lot of uncertainty in Miami. Like, yes, Tua got an extension. I think going into last year or the year before, but like we've seen teams now more than ever swallow the pill and move on from these quarterbacks that they gave shitty deals to. Aaron Rodgers, the Jets just ate a bunch of guaranteed money. Kirk Cousins, the Falcons are ready to eat a lot of money on him. Russell Wilson was just moved from Denver. They took out they ate the most dead cap. Matt Ryan a few years back. Like this is becoming a common theme. Hell, the Browns gave out a fully guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson. So like I don't like that contract that Tua has is not enough insulation when you think about the fact that his head coach is in a very tough spot right now. I don't know what to expect with Mike McDaniels. It wouldn't surprise me if he's gone. And so I want nothing to do with Tua. I really don't. If you have him and you can even get like I don't know. Like I hate to say like a mid two because he still is a quarterback, which is value, but that's really all the value he has. He's a quarterback and in super flex, it's hard to get quarterback. So that's the value he has. I'd rather draft Matt Stafford at that point, a couple rounds later, and just hope that he just got an extension. Give me 2 years of Matt Stafford. You know what you're getting with him. And then maybe you draft a rookie quarterback in this year or next year's class to replenish your quarterback room. But like to me, there's not a world where I'm taking Tua unless it's like my third quarterback and there is really nobody I want on the board. But then I'd rather just trade back if your a league allows trade backs in a startup. So I know I went on a little bit of a rant there, but is there anything else that you want to share about Tua before we close this out?
Yeah, I think you're spot on in the issue of his value. His value is just that he's a starting quarterback. And
Right.
what would you want? You would want probably a late first, the 109 to the 112, somewhere in that range. Are you going to get that? Probably not. Someone's
No.
got to be desperate if you're going to get it. And to your point, if you could move back and just get Stafford, I'd rather do that. I'd rather get Geno. I'd rather get Sam Darnold because you can get them cheaper and, have a little bit more security and that they're not necessarily going to have to medically retire. And I get that that's unfair to project and it's, could happen to any player, but it's just an issue with Tua. Like that is
Yeah.
going to be everything that we talk about going forward with Tua is, well, can he play? And the answer is always going to be, I don't know. For now, yes.
For now, yes, he's a body. He's breathing for now. That he's out there. He's a quarterback in the NFL. He has a job at the moment. That's really the best that you can say for him. Again, I'd rather take Fields because I'm not in love with Fields as a quarterback, but he provides upside, and at least he may be able to give you some boom at the position for a year or two based on where you're getting him. So, but that's going to do it for us, guys.